Wir haben den einen und den einzigen und den wirklich wahren Darth Vader persönlich, Mr. David Prowse. Thank you for taking the time. And would you guess how many Darth Vaders have you already seen just on this convention?
I think I've probably seen about half a dozen here today. But I must have seen basically thousands over the years, you know, because I've now been doing this for over 30 years. And I'm somewhere different in the world every weekend. Like, you know, last weekend it was Italy. The week before that it was America. A week before that it was Canada. A week before that it was somewhere else. And you know, next week I'm off again. And I got conventions coming out of my ears at the moment. Yeah.
What's that like? To everywhere you go, you see people imitating that figure that you created, basically, and trying to do the Darth Vader walk and your swagger. What's that like?
I think it's rather nice, actually. You know, they're all pleased to see me, which is very fortunate. And I'm only too happy to have a chat with them. You know, you see, the thing is that they're all part of what we call the 501 Squadron. And I'm Commander-in-Chief worldwide of the 501 Squadron, you see, so I'm like their boss. So everywhere I go in the world, I'm met by the stormtroopers and the Darth Vaders of this world, yeah.
So the German garrison snapped the salute.
Of course they do, yeah.
Okay, so he's our big Star Wars buff, so of course he's going to do the Star Wars questions.
Yeah, basically I've grown up with Star Wars. It's the first thing I remember in my childhood, so... in your opinion, what was the most? Yeah. What was the most important line of all the three movies, in your opinion?
Most important line? I don't know. Oh gosh. No, I don't think any of them were more important than others. I mean,
what was your favorite scene, maybe?
My favorite scene? I can't think of sort of favorites. I mean, I enjoyed working on the first two movies. I didn't enjoy the third one very much. I hated the director on the third movie. It was a guy called Richard Marquand. I could have wrung his neck if I'd had the chance, like, you know. But on the first two, the first two were lovely. George directed the first one, which is great. And Irving Kershner directed the second one, he was very, very nice to work with. But I'm afraid the third one I didn't like at all. So.
How was it to work with Kershner instead of Lucas? Was it a huge difference from one director to another?
Not really, no. Because I mean, all directors are different. You know, they got different ways and means of going about things. But in the main. You've got your dialogue and you rehearse your parts. The only thing is the director has got to make definitely certain that he gets everything right as far as what's going on within the scene itself. It's like for instance when I very first started on the movie, especially on Star Wars, I decided I wanted to make everybody subservient to me. And I decided what I would do. I would get the walk. Always get the walk right. This is a very important thing in movies. Is get the walk right, because if you get the walk right, everything falls into place. You see. And what happened was the very first scene we did was a walk up the corridor, and I had them and the stormtroopers were following me, and George Lucas was on the camera dolly, and was following me as well, like, you know. And I stormed up this corridor, like, you know, really strode out, like, you know, and got to the end of it. And George Lucas comes out. He said, "Davis, I'm sorry." He said, "You've got to slow up." He said, "We can't keep up with you."
Awesome. So when it comes to this critical situation, the turning point in the story in episode 5, Empire Strikes Back on Bespin. So except for Mark Hamill, no one knew what the final line would be. So I guess
I'm your father. You mean?
Yes.
No, I didn't know until I went and saw the movie. I knew nothing about that whatsoever. And I said I went to the I don't think we had a premiere not on Empire. And I went to see the movie, and there I am going, "But Luke, I am your father." And I'm, "Oh my God, that's news to me," like, you know.
So what was your original line in the scene?
I can't remember. No, I don't know.
You said hello.
Nothing to do with that. Excuse me. No. Excuse me. But it was nothing to do with being Luke's father. No.
I heard once that you said, "I killed your father," and he was whining like a small girl or something like that.
I never said anything like that at all. No.
Oh, maybe it was like Obi-Wan is your father.
I can't remember honestly.
Okay. So, couple more questions.
Yeah, we also posted the question to our readers what they would like to know, what they would like to ask you, and of course the question came up, were you even able to see where you were going in that helmet? Because I can't imagine, was it really hard to get your orientation on stage?
No, it was quite easy actually. What happened was there were big problems with the helmet and the mask when it first arrived, and I said to I put the mask on, and I could move my head around inside the mask, and the mask still stayed facing forwards. And I said to George, no, I said the mask is too big, and he said, no, it looks absolutely perfect on you. It looks perfect. I said, yeah, but I'm moving my head around inside the mask, and nothing's happening with the mask. And he said, oh, don't worry, we'll pad the inside of the mask out so that your face fits flush into the mask. You see. So that's what they did. That's what they did to start with, and then they had problems with the helmet fitting on top of the mask, and because the helmet was all wobbling around all the time, you see, so they had to get a special fixing where the helmet stayed solid, But it was, George Lucas kept on saying, no, the mask and the helmet are absolutely perfect for the rest of your, for your physique and, in relation to the rest of your body.
I also once read that you started, that you started your whole career as an actor in a stage play because they needed someone really tall and strong to pick someone up as Death. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, it was a play called Don't Let Summer Come, and they had this idea that there was only 3 people in the play. I was the 4th, and it was two girls and a fella. And what it was the 2 girls had worked on the guy all the way through the play, and in the final he was so fed up with everything he submitted to Death, and he wanted Death to take him away, and so they hit on the idea of trying to get him to levitate. They wanted him to. He was led on a bed, and they wanted him to raise up off the bed, and just go up in the air like this, let's go into heaven as it were, and. They tried all sorts. They tried ropes to try and haul him up and things like this, and nothing worked. And I think they tried got various other actors in to try and lift him, and nobody could pick him up. Nobody could get him up, and they suddenly hit on the idea of getting a strongman in. And at that time, I was the British heavyweight weightlifting champion, and. Excuse me, I got this terrible cough, and I went in to see the director, a guy called Bernard Miles, and he said, well, this is it. He's going to be led on the bed and all wrapped up in red velvet, and we just want him to raise up off the bed and go up into the air. You see, he said, do you think you could do it? And I said, well, yeah, of course I could, And he said, well, we'd like to see. So I went over and scooped him up off the bed and held him at arm's length. I said, where would you like him? He said, oh, could you do this twice nightly? And they said, well, if you pay me enough money, I'll do it as many times a night as you like. And that got me into the Actors Union, because I wasn't an actor. It was never my intention to become an actor. And from then on, things just snowballed and snowballed and snowballed.
I'm very glad that they needed a Death for that play.
I got a very last question. So, in the Blu-ray edition, they added this line in episode 6 where Darth Vader said no. Do you like this line?
Don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it.
No? Before you throw the Emperor down, so Darth Vader says no.
It doesn't worry me. George can do what he likes with the movie, to be honest. I mean, I'd finished work on the movie years previously, and that, as far as I was concerned, that was the end. If he wants to muck about with it and alter lines around, he thinks he's hoping that he's improving it, I'm sorry. That's his prerogative, you know.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been an honor.
Oh, sorry about the cough.
No problem. So, I'd have to tell.
I'll tell you, I've had this terrible cough. You know, I had it for about a week, and I bought some cough medicine. I bought some cough medicine. Yesterday, the day before. No, day before yesterday. And of course, I take this cough medicine, and it was absolutely fantastic. It got rid of the cough completely, like, you know. So I thought, well, I must take it with me to the States, to Germany with me. So I put this bottle of cough medicine in my bag, and of course, what happens? I got to where they check you in, and they said, no, you can't take this cough medicine with you, and throw it away. They threw my bottle of my cough medicine in the bin, and I thought they said, well, you can obviously, you know, you can't. We're not allowed to take that much fluid on the plane, and they said you'll have to go and find some cough medicine when you get to Germany. So unfortunately, I've not had a chance to go out and look for any cough medicine, but I thought it was quite strange actually throwing away my cough medicine that was keeping me going. Yeah.
Flight security is a great thing.
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm Doctor Who right now. But
Traitor!